These scholarship awards have the potential to carry value well beyond the dollar amounts that they hold. Knowledge and the application of that knowledge is the power to make a difference. These students are prime examples of what we strive for in the world of education as educators. They have high academic achievements, excellent personal character, and the motivation to do great things. We are all very proud of all of their accomplishments to date. I have no doubt that they will continue to be successful as they make their mark on society and make a difference in our world. So with the help of this premier scholarship, they can continue that journey without the extensive burden and worry of large debts. What a fantastic opportunity for beginning and promising future. I'm sure all of these students here today will come to realize the magnitude of this great honor. To our recipients, I'd like to congratulate you on the things that you have done and will do. Enjoy your college careers. Make them some of the best times of your life. Again, a sincere and honest thank you to the Jacobs family for making this opportunity possible, and good luck. Thank you.
This time I'd like to recognize the Executive Director of the Global Learning Charter Public School, Dr. Stephen Furtado.
Thank you, Craig. Good afternoon, Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs, Mayor Mitchell, honored guests, members of the Community Foundation, family, friends, and especially the scholarship recipients. It is once again an honor to be a part of an event that represents the culmination of a kindergarten through grade 12 experience for our scholarship recipients. Each year we are asked to identify a student that will further their education in the field of science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. And this year, Victoria, Tori, Arsenault, is our student from the Global Learning Charter Public School that meets the criteria. Tori will major in nuclear pharmacy at the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences in Boston. The major of nuclear pharmacy symbolizes the advances in medicine that we continue to embrace in our lives that only a decade ago we could dream of, or they were simply a chapter in a science fiction novel. I look out into the faces of our scholarship recipients and know that the future of our well-being is in their hands. Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs continue to shape our future with their dedication to medical research and to STEM education. My recent visit to the Salk Institute in San Diego left me in awe upon viewing the strides in stem cell research that is ongoing at the Institute. This could not happen without the vision of the Jacobs family. Their contributions allow for the creativity and courage of researchers to go beyond the norm and experiment in laboratories with state-of-the-art equipment. But more importantly, they recognize the impact that these students before you will have on all of us tomorrow, next year, and the future decades. They will be our trailblazers that will develop the new medicines, the new surgical techniques, the mathematical formulas, and the machines that will enhance the quality of our lives. Today, their recognition of these students is only the beginning. The scholarships provide opportunities that may have been denied. We may never know the full impact of the Jacobs' contribution to these students and those that have come before them or those that will come after them. But all we can say is that we were here when the dream became a reality. On behalf of the GLCPS community, the GLCPS family, we thank you for recognizing these students, rewarding Tori, her accomplishments, her potential, and those of her fellow recipients. Congratulations.
Before we introduce each of the students this evening, I'd like to say something about our benefactors, Irwin and Joan Jacobs. Dr. Jacobs was born in New Bedford, and he graduated from New Bedford High School in June of 1950. He went on to earn a Bachelor of Engineering degree from Cornell University and an MS and SCD degrees in Electrical Engineering from MIT. From 1959 to 1966, Dr. Jacobs was an assistant professor of electrical engineering at MIT, and then from 1966 to 1972, a professor of computer science and engineering at the University of California, San Diego. Dr. Jacobs co-founded Linkabit Corporation in 1968, which merged with Maycom in August of 1980. And in 1985, he co-founded the Fortune 500 company Qualcomm. Dr. Jacobs led Qualcomm through a period of rapid growth to over 19,000 employees today, with international activities in digital wireless telephone, mobile satellite communications, and Internet software. He was the CEO of Qualcomm through 2005, its chairman through 2009, and today serves as the founding chairman and CEO emeritus. For the past 14 years, Qualcomm has been selected by Fortune as one of the 100 best companies to work for in America. Dr. Jacobs was named chair of the Board of Trustees of the Salk Institute in November of 2006 and chair of the National Academy of Engineering in July of 2008. He is the recipient of numerous industry, education, and business awards, many of which are listed in this program, and more recently included the Ernst & Young Lifetime Achievement Award in 2001 and the EE Times ACE Awards Lifetime Achievement Award in 2001. Joan Klein Jacobs is a New York City native who has become a leader in the San Diego community since moving to La Jolla in 1966. She has played a vital role in her contributions to the San Diego arts community and is current chair of the San Diego Symphony Foundation, which was created in 2003 to create an endowment that manages monies to ensure the future of the symphony. She serves on the board of the La Jolla Playhouse, is chair of the Art Committee for the University of California San Diego Foundation, and is vice president of the Executive Committee for the Jewish Community Foundation of San Diego County. Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs have been cited by Businessweek as being among the 50 most generous philanthropists in the United States. In August of 2010, Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs signed the Giving Pledge, along with 40 other individuals and families. This effort, spearheaded by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, is a commitment from our country's wealthiest people to donate more than half of their wealth to charitable organizations. Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs, thank you once again for joining us. We have had a busy day today, probably too busy. We've had a chance to tour the new STEM program at the Global Learning Charter School, had a chance to meet our Mayor, John Mitchell, also had a chance to meet the Chancellor at UMass and learn more about some exciting, innovative programs that are being undertaken in New Bedford Public Schools with technology support from Friends Academy. At this time, I'd like to ask the Jacobs to join me at the podium. We'll make some initial presentations to the students, and then we'll have some remarks from Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs. Our first recipient is Tori Arsenault. Tori? Tori plans to pursue her PhD in pharmaceutical studies at the Mass College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences after graduating from the Global Learning Charter School this year. She hopes to be a nuclear pharmacist, a specialized pharmacist who is able to handle various body materials and radioactive medication. The doctor of Victoria Arsenault, Tori is taking two AP classes, I've been told to call her Tori, taking two AP classes this year, is the student body president, and is a member of the National Honor Society. In the community, she has been a museum apprentice here at the Whaling Museum, a teen mural crew member at Artworks, and a member of the Community Boating Center's race team. Tori? Our next Jacobs Scholarship recipient is Kenny Chan. A bunch of us had a chance to meet Kenny earlier this year, actually late last year, when he was part of a group of students at New Bedford High School that were helping the education roundtable conduct a school committee debate. And I would guess that the candidates and school committee members here would appreciate that it was a lot more rigorous questions than they would have gotten from the education roundtable. So he's seventh in his class of 452 students at New Bedford High School and plans to study electrical and computer engineering at the Polytechnic Institute of New York University. The son of Chung Bing Chan, Kenny has always wanted to be an engineer, and at New Bedford High School he was the captain of the Mate Rove team of 2011, working with the team to win second place at the New England Regionals. The second place finish allowed the team to compete in the international competition at the Neutral Buoyancy Lab in Houston, Texas. Kenny was also one of 64 students from around the country invited in the summer of 2011 to study at MIT under a one-week pilot program called Engineering Experience E2 at MIT. Kenny?
I don't really have anything prepared, but it is definitely the greatest honor to be up here right now. And I definitely like to thank everyone that has contributed to me being up here, and the Jacobs family, along with the selecting committee that has chosen me to be part of this great scholarship. Thank you.
And Tori, I forgot to ask you to stay at the microphone for a few remarks as well, so we haven't overlooked you. Come on up.
Sorry about that. It is one of the biggest honors to be up here. When I had gotten the phone call, I was completely taken aback. I've never felt such an honor or so much gratitude, or even to be so humbled. I am only so thankful that I could have been chosen by all of these great people, and I'd really like to thank the Jacobs family for their generosity, as well as the Community Foundation, everyone at my school who's stood behind me and made me know that I'm not alone in this process. Thank you so much.
Our next recipient is Darius Hakikat, who I probably just butchered your last name. I have a way of doing that, even though Lauren has been coaching me all day on how to pronounce names. But come on up, Darius. He is the second-ranked student in this year's New Bedford High School graduating class and plans to study biology on a pre-med track at Stonehill College. He plans to major and specialize in psychiatry. The son of Isabel and Hossein Hakikat, Darius has taken 6 AP courses over the past 2 years, and his high test scores on the exams have earned him the distinction of being an AP scholar. He has earned straight A's throughout his high school and is vice president of the New Bedford High School chapter of the National Honor Society. Outside of New Bedford High School, he is a graduate of the C-Lab Marine Science Program and current co-chair of the City of New Bedford's Mayor's Youth Council. Darius?
Thank you. Hi. I don't think it can be said enough about how great an honor it is to be up here today. And I know that I would not be here if it weren't for the excellent school system, for all my amazing teachers, for my very supportive family. And I would like to especially take this opportunity to extend my gratitude towards the Jacobs family and to all the benefactors for this amazing opportunity. I know that I can continue my dream of studying biology and being a psychiatrist one day, and it's thanks to you. So thank you very much.
Hi, Erica, it's your turn. Erica Romehild, come on up. Erica ranked number 6 in this year's New Bedford High School graduating class and plans to study biology on a pre-med track at UMass Dartmouth. She is a certified EMT and wants to continue in the healthcare field, possibly as a visiting geriatric physician. She has taken 6 AP classes over the past 2 years and is a member of the National Honor Society. At New Bedford High School, she has been involved in the Science Club, Spotlight Program, and the Student Emergency Response Team. In the community, Erica has been an active volunteer with the South Baptist Church of New Bedford, an assistant Sunday school teacher with the thrift store, and setting up fundraisers for mission work in Haiti, Liberia, and India. Erica.
call. Hi. It's a great honor to be up here. I just want to say, when I received the call, I was in tears. My mom could attest to that. It's a true blessing that the Jacobs family has provided me with. So I just want to say thank you. Bye.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Irwin and Joan Klein-Jacobs.
All I can say is, wow. I don't think I could have gotten one of those scholarships. You kids are really impressive. Let's give them another. Irwin and I want to wish you all the success. I know it's going to be a great journey, and we are really happy to be able to provide these scholarships for your studies. But as you heard, I'm interested in arts and art education, and I think that's also an important part of your education. So I hope that you'll find time when you're studying to visit the campus theater, the art museum, or some other place, because studying is wonderful, but you need a little break now and then. Anyway, again, my congratulations. I know everyone wants to say some words.
Turn that one up a little further. There we go. Again, I'd like to add my congratulations. And indeed, it's always great to come back and meet the students who have earned these awards, these scholarships, and then later to hear how you've been doing and progressing through your college career, and hopefully stay in touch some way as you go on into your professional lives. But congratulations, you've come a long way as far as all your accomplishments, and lots of exciting things to be done yet. So again, we're very pleased to be here and share this with you. It's always good to come back to New Bedford. As was mentioned, I graduated high school here back in 1950, if you can believe it's that far back. I have trouble. But very much enjoyed time here in New Bedford. Went on to Cornell University. Some of you that have heard this before, I apologize for repeating it, but I had a high school counselor in New Bedford that said there was no future in science nor technology. Not something I support at this time. There's a lot of future in science and technology. But when folks had a small restaurant, I started in the hotel school at Cornell. But coming back and talking here, and in particular talking with two of my high school teachers, Mel Felton, Phil Bronspiegel, they kept saying, you know, you really should rethink this. And after 3 terms in the hotel school, I did then switch over to engineering. Obviously very pleased that I did that. It's also very exciting. I will mention I had a year of accounting when I was in the hotel school. Turns out that that has been very useful to me as well. I had 13 years as a college professor. For those of you who are teachers, you know that that really is the best way to learn something. One of the points I often make is that one learns a lot of theory. There's always this question in students' minds as to whether or not all that theory is ever going to turn out to be very useful or not. One reason for dropping out of teaching and going into business was that I thought it would be a good opportunity to prove that all that theory indeed does have a real-world payoff. My second company, as was mentioned, is Qualcomm. We're in the cell phone technology business. both developing technology, designing the chips, adding a lot of software to that. And that, of course, has been very exciting over the last few years. There are now 7 billion people in the world. There are 6 billion cellular connections at this point, obviously having a very major impact worldwide. And so it's exciting to be very much part of that. One of the issues that we're very concerned with these days is not only providing the basic communications, internet connectivity for people around the world, but also what can we do to have more of a social impact on people that have this communication capability now. So we've been very active in education, mobile education, been very active. When I say we, it's Qualcomm as well as ourselves personally. In telemedicine, I think that the availability of various sensor devices that communicate with your phone, I reach to my pocket because that's where my phone is, communicate with your phone. The phone can process information, some of these measurements, provide information to you, to the parents, to your doctor about your welfare and when something may need to be dealt with. I think that's going to, in fact, improve the quality of health worldwide over this coming decade considerably, as well as reduce the cost of health care, reduce the number of times that somebody has to be in the hospital, leaves the hospital, whether or not they'd have to come back, or whether one can monitor their situation and keep them healthy away from the hospital. We've also been involved with programs for fishermen, for farmers, providing information to them about what crops or what fish, where they may be biting, what the price they may get if they come to different ports. So there's a whole range of different types of things that are now possible, now feasible with this improving technology. So one reason that we've kind of focused the scholarships on those who are interested in going into one of the STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, math, is that we think that in fact is a wonderful way to provide a future. Finally, I must say it's always fun to come back to New Bedford to see the progress, meet the mayor and find out the latest plans, the latest good things that are happening. I would encourage everyone, and certainly yourselves, when you graduate, to continue to have this in mind, that it's very important to remember where you come from, what you've gone through to get to each step as you move ahead, and then to perhaps, if you're in a position, be able to pay some of that back. So again, we're very pleased to be back. Thank you for everyone who's participated in the selection process, and I know that's a lot of work, a lot of very, very good students to kind of sift through. To the teachers that are present, doing a fantastic job in often difficult circumstances given budget situations, administrators, everyone, parents, etc. We're pleased to be here with you. Thank you all.
Before introducing the mayor, I'd like to recognize some of the elected officials in attendance this afternoon. We have Dr. John Fletcher from the school committee, Marlene Pollock from the school committee, and Jack Livermental from the school committee. And representing central administration, we have Assistant Superintendent for Accountability, Jane Daly. This time it gives me great pleasure to introduce, I guess we can't call him new anymore, he's been on the job for 4 months, but I have to commend the mayor for, I think, taking some fairly strong stands, coming out of the gate running, pursuing an aggressive strategy for economic development and community development, and look forward to working with him. Mayor Mitchell.
Thank you, Craig. I think usually 4 months into a job would still be considered, I'd still be considered new, but I don't feel new at all. Let me start off by congratulating all 4 of you. This really represents the culmination of years of hard work and years of sacrifice on part of each one of you. It's not easy to have done what you've done. At many points along the way, you have decided, to turn off the television and hit the books, to turn off the iPod and hit the books, to tell your friends, you know what, I can't go out tonight. I've got some studying to do. Those aren't easy sacrifices. With all the demands on high school students these days, it's really hard to say no. And you've done that. And you deserve all of these accolades. You deserve every penny of these generous scholarships. You've really earned it. And so I congratulate you and commend you for your hard work. And we expect great things of all of you. And, for these kinds of events, for me as mayor, are the best ones, when we can really celebrate high achievement. It's often, I think all too often these days, we leave out of the conversation concerning public education, high achievement and excellence. And every opportunity I have to recognize high achievement, it's a great opportunity for me. So congratulations. To Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs, thank you for doing what you're doing, what you've done year in and year out. Thank you for giving back. Thank you for not forgetting where you came from. If we could all do that, it's a lesson to each one of you as you go on to great things. As Dr. Jacobs said, don't forget where you came from. This means a lot, not only to the recipients, but to our community. It really, this has become an annual event, a celebration, annual celebration for us as a city. And we're really pleased that you've come back year in, year out, reliably and devoted to a cause higher than all of ourselves. And the fact that you've given back and the fact that your stature in the global business community reminds me of a point about and a story about public education. I think a story ultimately about public education. And it's an often told story about Ben Franklin's experience when he was one of the delegates, the Pennsylvania delegates that ratified the Constitution. He was a story may be apocryphal, it may not be. It's come down through the ages. It almost doesn't matter if it's real or not, but it's true nevertheless. He famously walked out of the convention hall and was asked, Mr. Franklin, what kind of government do you have now? And his famous response, of course, was a republic, if you can keep it. Now, the point in his comment and his response has everything to do with the kind of citizenry that we want, that the founding fathers wanted in our republic. And it has everything to do with public education. And of course, it's something that folks struggle with, leaders struggled with early in our republic's history. How do you develop a citizenry that is responsible and high-minded enough and broadly thinking enough to sustain our form of government? And the answer in part is through public education, to create a citizenry that has a view broader than one's immediate circumstances. There was another goal of public education, too, that was very important then, and that isn't quite as heralded nowadays, but is, in my view, equally important. And that is public education is designed to develop good leaders. That it's important in our form of government, in the republic, that we churn out people who will be the leaders of tomorrow. These four young men and women right here among them, that in the long run will rise or fall as a society based on the kinds of leaders that we have, not just honest leaders, but people who can think broadly, who can think about the future, who can keep their gaze and their sights focused on the future. So in that way, in my view, and I'm sure everyone's here, the stakes are very high when it comes to public education, very, very high, especially so nowadays when public education, a good educational foundation is necessary to compete in a global economy that Dr. Jacobs helped form. It really, really matters. And so, it's appropriate, in my view, given events in the school system this week and recently, that we keep our focus on this point, that these are high stakes, and tough choices have to be made in order to form a first-rate school system, the kind of school system that we deserve in New Bedford and the kind of school system that we need here in New Bedford. And so let's do as Dr. Jacobs has done. keep our eyes fixed on the long run with a broad view to a better future. I salute you on your generosity, and I really salute you on being an inspiration for our community. Thank you very much.
Just one final note. Dr. Jacobs, before he graduated from New Bedford High School, graduated from the Mount Pleasant School, which is now called the Carlos Pacheco School. And for the past 5 years, he's been giving back to the students of that school in a number of ways, sponsoring after-school programs, sponsoring enrichment programs. I'd like to recognize Marsha Fauché, the principal who was with us this afternoon from the Carlos Pacheco School. One of the highlights of their year will be tomorrow, because 10 students who've been selected for their accomplishments are going to be boarding a plane, Dr. Jacobs' private plane, and flying with the Jacobs and representatives of the school to Mystic, Connecticut, to visit the aquarium, meet Dr. Ballard from Titanic fame and tour that exhibit, and then get to see the one that got away, the Charles W. Morgan, in dry dock and under reconstruction in Connecticut. And we hope that they'll be able to be here again when the Morgan comes back to New Bedford in 2 years. So I want to thank you all for coming today. I want to again thank the Jacobs for the generous support of this community. I want to recognize and applaud the accomplishments of these young men and young women, and invite you all to stay. We'll have a very brief reception afterwards to meet and mingle and get to know everyone a little bit better. Thank you.